paired tentacles and ometophores can be protruded or retracted according to the occasion of demands. Now the next part from the body of Pila is the foot. It is the important part of the body. Below the head region, see the diagram. Below the head region, at the ventral side, this muscular part is present. We call it as foot. It is highly extensible. It is large in size. Means head is situated at the anterior side, but the foot is situated at the ventral side. The structure of a foot is triangular with its pointed apex. These are the pointed apex directed backwards. जसे आपण हसल्यानंतर ओठ कसे पाठीमागे जातात, ओके, तसे, ओके, म्हणजे त्यांचे अपेक्स जे आहेत ते पाठीमागच्या बाजूला वळलेले असतात. दिस फूट इज फ्लॅट, ब्रॉड, स्मूथ and gray in color. It is the ventral surface called sole. Sole म्हणजे पायाचा तळवा म्हणतो ना आपण, sole. Yes, this sole is applied to the substratum while locomotion or while creeping. But it means, what is the function of a foot? Creeping is the function of foot. Locomotion is the function of foot. Okay, foot has two parts, anterior and posterior. This is the anterior part, this is the posterior part. Anterior part is called the propodium and posterior part is called the metapodium. Propodium and metapodium together constitute the foot, which forms the sole for creeping during locomotion. When this foot is withdrawn, the operculum closes the mouth of the shell. Means when this foot is withdrawn, at that time operculum closes the shell of the mouth. Means like the door of the house can be closed tightly, like that operculum shuts. Okay, means that can be closed. Got it? No? Why? Because this foot is attached most of the time to the operculum. That is why when this foot muscles, columnar muscles, retracted at that time, the operculum attached to the foot also can be retracted, also can be taken inside the shell, and that operculum closes and whole body can be protected inside the shell very safely. Okay, yes. When the foot is withdrawn, we cannot see the foot outside because already it has gone inside. Okay, mouth also goes at that time inside the operculum, means inside the shell part. This foot is equipped with the muscle fibers. This foot is equipped with the muscle fibers inside. Those muscle fibers inside the foot are arranged crosswise and lengthwise. Crosswise and lengthwise. आडवे उभे. That is why those crosswise and lengthwise muscles, they give strength to the foot. Okay, and that foot is needed, the strength, because it has to locomote, and for the locomotion strength is needed because whole body during the creeping it takes upon its top. That is why it should have a strength. That is why muscles are there crosswise and lengthwise. Pedal glands are also present. This foot part is equipped with the glands, special glands are present. We call them as pedal glands. These pedal glands they secrete the slime trail during locomotion. Sometimes we see outside the house or on the wall of the house a snail is locomoting or snail is creeping. During the creeping or locomotion it keeps behind or, or it releases behind the slime trail. चकचकीत असा slime trail असतो, वाट असते. Slime trail it can secrete. That slime trail can be secreted by the pedal glands of the foot during the locomotion. Okay, got it? Yes, and this foot part is soft, gray, and brown in color. Now the next part, that is visceral mass of the pila. Where the visceral mass is situated, listen. This is anterior-most part. This is ventral part, foot part, and this is the visceral mass of the pila. This visceral mass of the pila is coiled exactly like the shell to fit in it. Means we observe the shell from outside. Same at inside level also the body has been fitted very safely and very neatly in that shape only, like that of the shell inside also. Okay, this visceral mass it forms a sort of hump म्हणजे कुबड, sort of hump on the dorsal side which lodged main organs of the body. Means inside the visceral mass of this mantle part, this mantle covering is there. We call it as visceral mass here actually, but this skin part, below the skin part, main organs of the body have been lodged, and this mantle part or this part, it looks like a hump on the dorsal side. Means this visceral part, they are situated at the dorsal side, head at the anterior side, and foot at the ventral side. Got it? Means dorsal sided part, ventral sided part, but this is the head part situated at the anterior most part. We know the body parts of human being. Our back is the dorsal side, our chest is at the ventral side, and our head is at the anterior side. Here, visceral mass is situated at the dorsal side, foot is situated at the ventral side, while the head is situated at the anterior side. Okay, this visceral mass occupies body hole and other holes also. This visceral mass in mollusca exhibits a peculiar phenomenon of torsion. Torsion means what actually? Its larva, it is simple. It has head, okay? It has tail-like portion, but during metamorphosis, torsion occurs. Torsion means what happens? The gastrula is having the mouth and anus part in the opposite directions. But what happens actually? Suppose um, I take this position. This is the head part. This is the anus part. Okay. What happens during the torsion? This head part it rotates into 180 degree. Listen, this head part rotated in 180 degree in opposite direction only. Okay, but its anus part it is there only. Means head part and anus part both lie at one side. That is why head and foot we have seen at one side only. This complex, we call it as head-foot complex, which can be observed only in mollusca. Yes, got it? Now, this visceral part is soft and gray brown in color. Yes, mantle of Pila or pallium of Pila. Mantle is also called pallium. Let us see the definition of mantle. This visceral mass actually inside the mantle. This is the mantle part, and below this mantle part visceral organs are there. Means visceral organs are covered by thin, delicate glandular covering. We call it as mantle. This is the mantle or skin. Okay, in human being we call it as skin, but here we call it as the mantle. Why? What is the difference between the mantle and skin? There is difference. This mantle secretes the calcareous shell, means shell of calcium carbonate. This mantle secretes the calcium carbonate, means calcareous shell, which protects the body, but skin cannot secrete the calcareous shell. This is the difference between the mantle and skin, but we can call it as skin of the pila. Okay, abrupt skin of the pila. This is the mantle. Anteriorly, this mantle becomes thickened at the anterior side. You know it very well that head is situated at the anterior side. Means at the anterior side, means anteriorly this mantle becomes thickened and pigmented. It is dark colored. Collar like our shirt collar is no. Collar like dark colored part is there. We call it as the supramarginal groove. This is the groove, supramarginal groove. And this anterior part of the mantle is thickened, pigmented, and protects hood around the head. Means around the head, the hood can be protected by this mantle part, which is thicker than this part. Okay, above this thickened edge, this groove is present. We call it as a supramarginal groove. Periosteum of the shell. We had seen already the microscopic structure of shell. In that we have studied the periosteum. That periosteum of the shell is secreted by the supramarginal groove. Means a supramarginal groove secretes the periosteum layer of the shell, means outer layer of the shell, and the middle layer, that is ostracum of the shell, is secreted by the shell glands of the edge. This is the mantle edge, and from the mantle edge, middle layer of the shell, that is ostracum, can be secreted, and the lower layer, which is hypostratum layer of the shell, is secreted by the general epithelium of the mantle epithelium. Okay, outer side of the mantle we call it as general epithelium. That epithelial layer secretes the hypostratum layer of the shell. Got it? Yes. And last, that is mantle. Mantle is prolonged into the pseudopodium. This part we call it as pseudopodium. This is the right pseudopodium and this is the left pseudopodium. It can be means this part is the prolongation of the mantle. This right-sided right pseudopodium, left-sided left pseudopodium. Pseudopodium also can be called as nuchal lobe of left side. is larger than the right side. The right sided nuchal lobe is smaller than the left side. Why this left sided nuchal lobe or pseudopodium is larger? Because for the respiration, when this organism is on land, when it respires air, at that time this left pseudopodium can be projected out of the body. It can be turned into the siphon like structure and it gulps air. It pursues air. It receives fresh air, fresh oxygen. That is why this left pseudopodium is. Okay. Thank you. Summary of this lecture. Body of Pila and mantle of Pila. What we studied in Pila globosa, body consists of head, foot, and visceral mass. Head is situated anteriorly, foot is situated ventrally, and mantle is situated at the dorsal side. Means mantle and foot, they are in opposite direction, dorsal and ventral, while the head part, which is situated at the anterior side, it comes forward little bit from the mantle and foot. Here head consists of two paired tentacles. First pair of tentacle was sensory in function, like that of the second also, but the first pair of tentacle was also called as the labial palps because of sense of which sense? Taste. That is why labial. And the second pair of tentacles were tactile in function, sense of touch. Likewise, we had seen the head and foot complex, and on the head and foot hump-like structure, that is a visceral mass was situated. That visceral mass, it encloses major organs, major visceral organs of the body. Means that mantle, it protects all the major visceral organs of the body, while that mantle again has been protected by the calcareous shell on the body. This is the peculiar character of the phylum mollusca. Yes, and visceral mass, we had seen only the first part of the visceral mass. We had seen that proximal part, that was the head part, and head part was having the mouth, which was situated between the two first pair of tentacles or between the labial palps as a vertical slit like aperture. And mantle we had seen, which is the characteristic feature of phylum mollusca. Thank you. Now tomorrow what we are going to deal from the chapter Pila globosa or apple snake, mantle cavity and pallial complex, body cavity, locomotion. Listen here, mantle cavity and pallial complex, that is the major part, but just we had seen the diagram of a body of a Pila. Okay, what is the difference in that diagram and this diagram? Yes, here it is the mouth. Here first pair of tentacles are there, second pair of tentacles are there, omatophores on its tip, eyes are present. Okay, that was we had seen already, and in that diagram we had seen the visceral mass, coiled visceral mass also, but here this structure, it looks different, something different. Why? Because this part is nothing but the mantle cavity and pallial complex. If that mantle has been cutted, okay, the cut has taken on the from the mantle, inside that the parts have been lodged. These are the parts that we will see tomorrow. Thank you very much.